check out the Comic Outlaw on YouTube. Drop a like, give us a subscribe, and we'll keep giving you some comics here and there. It'll be going non-stop, and today we're covering a Masters of the Universe Volume 2, the Image series. And this is based on the cartoon that came out sometime in the 2000s. It's really cool, lasted 2 seasons, and Christopher Yost actually wrote a lot of the episodes. I thought it was a great series. But anyways, we're going on about it, and this is basically Evelyn's revolution with these shards of darkness, these crystals that seem to amplify magic, and yet bring out the darkest nature of a person. One came into Oracle's possession, and though he had great power with it, it began to corrupt him. So they went to go see the sorceress to find out exactly what's going on. They went to the great castle Grayskull, which holds the power of Eternia and all the ancients. The ancients were these great, powerful beings that gave up their essence and basically contained it within the castle. Also, when He-Man transforms, these ancients bestow upon him the power of Grayskull. Now, as they're walking through the chambers, Man-at-Arms is giving a little exposition of what's going on in the castle, you know, how it's been up for eons, how it's been part of the historical record for as far back as they can remember, how it's just been a piece of Eternia. And they go on to the main chamber where they meet the sorceress. And I love the redo on the sorceress, I must say. Very cool, very awesome. The redo on Man-at-Arms, He-Man, you know, I do like the new update. I thought I'd get that out right now because I will be talking about that more. But anyways, they come to the main chamber, and there is the sorceress. She's kind of the keeper of the secrets of Grayskull, like the head protector. And she kind of bestowed He-Man his powers. And she begins to speak because knowledge is the ultimate power, and I do tend to agree with that, but it's also dangerous as well. And of course they explain the shard, what happened, and Arco has it behind his back. He seemingly doesn't really want to give it up. There's a call that the crystal gives out, a call to darkness, a call for power. But this is a shard of darkness, and this came during a great war between like these serpent men. And the ancient ones, they used this crystal to contain the evil because it couldn't be destroyed. So they used their power to contain it in a crystal, like a giant crystal. And then during the war, the crystal had shattered, and pieces of it went everywhere, containing the dark essence of the creature that was contained within. Now, most of the other crystal, or what was left of it, was banished into a dark dimension, a dimension between worlds. And now the other crystals have emerged. It's up to He-Man to find the rest of the pieces and have it sent off to this dark void so they don't wake up whatever ancient evil is in that crystal. And it's up to He-Man, and only He-Man, to go out to this lost land, this sands of fire, and look for the crystal. Now, Eternia is like basically 2 planets mixed into one. You have a very light side and you have a very dark side of Eternia. One side where King Randor rules, and one side where Skeletor rules. It's where the corruption and dark magic is kind of spread through the dark hemispheres of Eternia, is what they call it. Now, Evelyn's continuing on her plans, offering Eternia the Trapjaw, a very rare and powerful metal. It can be used for magical properties too, very hard to get. And it's her bribe to help her build a machine. Because Trapjaw is a great weapons engineer, and she basically goes on to say that she's taking over and that Skeletor won't notice anything, and Trapjaw is very suspicious about this, but he takes his payment and he does what he's told. Meanwhile, as Evelyn is leaving, you know, and basically is done with Trapjaw, she runs into Tri-Klops, and Tri-Klops is interesting because he is not faithful to Skeletor per se. He's faithful to the power. He's faithful to the darkness, and he understands that Skeletor has done a lot over the years and eons to earn this power. So, if Evelyn does succeed, he will go with her. He's joined her for now in the scheme. She does refer to him a bit of a coward, a conservative, or a villain. He doesn't make a move without thinking everything through, and sometimes you need that instinct, you need to take that leap in order to do your goals, but Tri-Klops is very conservative for a villain. Anyways, they land at the hemisphere. At one point, there was a great wall separating both hemispheres before it was shattered. and they've come to the edge of it, and He-Man is getting ready to go off and seek the crystal, but he feels a slight headache, and he has no idea what's going on with the headache, but he carries on anyways. It's the crystal. Even though he does have the power of Grayskull and the goodness flowing through him, that crystal corrupts everything. The evil inside was contained by the creatures that give He-Man his power. So it's a real back and forth. Meanwhile, Tri-Klops and Trapjaw are working on the machine that Evil Lyn wanted. And basically, Trapjaw goes on to basically say that Evil Lyn might be worse than Skeletor, And Tri-Klops goes, well, over the eons, like I said before, Skeletor's done a lot to earn this power, and we'll see if you can actually throw him off. But he's down to see what this scheme will hold, because there's always something in it for Tri-Klops. And he's always thinking ahead of everyone else. That's what does make him cool in this series. Anyways, He-Man comes to the Sands of Fire, and as you can tell why they get their name, the crystal is starting to glow more immensely. But as he does that, the sands shift out and turn into lava. And of course, He-Man, being He-Man, just kind of skips his way through it, lands with grace, and now he figured out why the desert has that name. But the crystal is pulling him more and more. It's calling out to him. And as he climbs that rock, he feels that headache again. And of course, as he climbs, it brings him to Snake Mountain. And of course, the other part of the crystal was going to be there. He should have figured. But why? Well, He-Man has this very interesting stone. It's kind of like an X-ray vision stone, and he kind of finds the chamber in there. And it's interesting, the bad guys have been looking for this their whole life, but sometimes you can't find what's right under your nose. But the crystal's calling to He-Man again. He could feel it calling to him. And all of a sudden, Evil Lyn appears and asks him, captivating, isn't it? And He-Man's totally caught off guard as the crystal glows brighter. What will happen next? And Evil Lyn's plan to take over Snake Mountain, and eventually Eternia, through these shards. What will happen the next time? We'll find out. And I am the Comic Outlaw. I loved this show when I was a kid. I love the new show. I'm looking forward to actually doing this a little bit more. I will be covering more Masters of the Universe. And as always, the main man, the Comic Outlaw, Jack Slater. And I will catch you on the flip side. Yeah.